It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Good day. How you doing? I am so pleased to have you on the show with me. I know you very well. Mm-hmm. David Zuill, you are co-founder of Davidrose Jewelry.
Correct.
I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and this is Mind Your Business, and we're going to talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
Before we do that, though, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is David Zuill. I'm the owner of Davidrose Jewelry. I have two beautiful daughters who are very demanding, and they make sure that I stay on top of things. Other than that, I'm pretty sure the rest is history. Everyone knows who I am since 2009. So
yeah.
Can't hide that.
Well, now the people that don't know will know.
Yeah.
And then the other person I want to give a shout out to is your beautiful wife, Rose, who you guys run the jewelry.
Correct. Yeah, we run it together. Yeah.
So you mentioned 2009 is when you got started.
Yeah. So 2009. My wife and I had been together for maybe a year, and I guess this is where you want me to know how I got started.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Right,
like,
so,
how did you? What made you decide jewelry was the thing?
I feel like fate plays a role in a lot of things, like especially when it comes to what you're gonna do when you're older. When you're younger, it's sort of like weaves sort of like thread together. And I'll give an example. I have a friend of mine whose parents did camps for kids when we were younger.
Okay.
And they would always rent the army camps, the army tents. And he would, since he was a baby, would always have to go with his parents. It's like something that he always had to do. And always had to put together the army tents. Fast forward to now, he works in the army and loves it. He was conscripted and then just absolutely loved it and stayed there. So for my story, it's very similar. My Nana is a big jewelry person. She loves jewelry. You can hear her. If she was coming through that door, you can hear her
the
before.
Bracelets, right?
You hear ching, 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 ching. Sounds like, just all this metal noise just clinking together. And I kind of was like raised by my Nana a lot. Like I spent a lot of time with her, more than the other grandkids. And I just remember from a young kid, she'd be like, this is this, and when you get older, this will belong to you. And then eventually, she helped me to create my first piece.
Okay.
I think it was like 13, 14.
Really?
Yeah. I had a godfather that was in the industry, and ironically, I liked blackjack at the time. This is before the age of the internet, and we was able to play blackjack online.
Right.
And so I always liked how the ace and jack of spades were suited. And so I created a ring from that. Ironically, that's the initials of my wife and I. It was just weird.
Really?
Yes,
That's so
strange.
crazy.
Very strange. I think that's one of the things that I can say that, like, is weird. Like the synchronicity of life. Anyways, fast forward to 2009. We're dating, and I had a little chintzy chain. I was in university. I couldn't afford much. It was just food school.
Right.
And it broke, and I was heartbroken. My wife was she was working at Microsoft at the time. She was in HR. She started her career young. She's a superstar. Like, she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
One of those like people that excel in life for some strange reason. Naturally, just a natural like boom.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh, I have a relative that's in the jewelry industry. I'll take you over there. He can fix it for you." Bam. So, ironically, we were living downtown Bay and Dundas, Toronto. And at the time, his studio was at Yonge and Dundas, which is like a block over.
Right.
Like, it could be
everything
Toronto,
was like lined up.
Toronto is a big city.
Yeah.
Toronto's a big city. So when we walked a block, I was like, this is where this. I can see this from like where we live. So I was expecting this old Jewish Indian guy. I don't know, Manian. So many different ideas of who I was expecting as I was walking there. And when I got there, you see this guy, young guy, 40s, dressed the way he wants to, like professional, but like not in the traditional suit. It was like more like, this is my lifestyle. And he was just an amazing person. He's my mentor. He's been a mentor. He's retired now, but he was in wholesale jewelry.
Okay.
He's never into retail. And up until that point in my life, I had never met anyone who enjoyed what they did in life. My entire family, they were just workers.
Right.
They went to work, and then as I was going to school, they were like, you need to go to school to get a good job. I'm like, why? You didn't even like it.
Why would you tell me to do that?
Why would you put that on me? Like, that's weird. Like, so, and then everyone that I spoke to in my family were the same way. Like, you need to go out there, get a great education to get a good job.
Yep.
That's basic. That was basically what I was
I think that's everybody,
drilled
right?
into me.
Yeah.
Drilled into me. And I never had any entrepreneurs in my family, you know, like immediate family. And so I see this guy, I'm like, his aura, just his energy is just so calming, just so refreshing, just so light and just happy. And just like, hey, come on in. Like, come on in. So I walked in the door. I'm like, this is not who I was expecting. This is a young guy. Like, I think I'm almost at the same age that he was when I met him. So I'm like, and he has two beautiful kids, a beautiful wife, and his office was just so inconspicuous. It was like this, like an office like this. It didn't look like a traditional jewelry store because he wholesaled to like Zales and the big box companies.
So it wasn't really retail.
Right. He was a big guy in the industry in Toronto, and everyone knew him. If you go to any other wholesaler or jewelry store, they're like, "Oh, you know him? Oh my God, okay, come in." You know, it was more like, wow.
Okay.
And so, but what I got from him was just this level of like comfort in life, just this level of peace. And he was so accommodating. Like, I sat down, I was like, "Hey, here's my chain." He was like, "This is kind of light. You sure you don't want anything heavy?" I'm like, "I'm in university, bro."
I can afford it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Like, this is not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come. I gotta eat some lunch and Kraft cheese macaroni back there. You're talking about buying a chain. I'm like, no, this isn't what I'm about to do. He was like, look, listen, I can give you this, like, because it was a chain. It was the chain that I had to repair. He was like, it's gonna break again.
Right.
It's that small. You're like, you're an adult now. This is like a little boy's chain. I felt so insulted, but like also I was like, thank you for telling me that. So he laid out this chain for me. He said, look, listen, you just live right there. They just come back and pay for it over time or through your school year. And I was like, what a good salesperson.
Right.
Trying to upsell me. Dare you.
How did it go? Did you get the chain?
Yes, I did. I'm mad at that. Besides the point, got the damn chain. So I walked out, and but before I walked out, he was showing me around his office, showed me his employees, he showed me the next door neighbors, because in the jewelry industry in Toronto, there's like a big, massive apartment building. It looks like an apartment building, but it has each apartment has like a different group of people doing different things in jewelry. Like, someone's doing packaging, there's another person down the hall just does CADs, someone does repairs, someone does this and this. There's so many different things. And he was like, you want to see everything? Like, I was like, okay, well, no, I didn't ask for this, but whatever. And so he took me around and had a great maybe, I thought it would be like a 15-minute like repair. It was like maybe 2 hours worth of like conversation. And he was such a cool guy. And so I walked out of there. I was still in school, by the way. I was in university. I walked out of there. And I don't know if you've ever, if there's ever a point in your life where something hits you in your soul, in your absolute core of your being, that you need to act. Yeah. That was the time. That's one of the biggest moments of my life, where I walked out of that building and everything in my body was telling me, this is what you need to be doing. You need to talk to this guy. You need to ask him what he's doing, because he's doing things that no one else is doing. Right. Like, he's happy about what he does. Right. His career. He's happy about his life. He's happy about the trajectory of where his business is going. Everything about him just screamed, hey, I got this. Yeah. I'm cool. Yeah. Never met that. Like, I've always had people like, right. We're going to do this. Gotta go to work. Yeah, gotta go to work. Gotta make time. Yeah. So I went home that evening with my girlfriend, which is my wife now. And I sat on the couch, didn't turn on the TV, didn't do anything. I just sat there and like I was zoned out, because my core was screaming, you need to act now. Here it is. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. And so I said to her, you know what? If you don't mind, I want to go back and talk to him tomorrow. Is that okay? Like, I need to understand why I'm feeling this way, like why this is in my mind. So she said, he's a cool guy. Go back and talk to him. You'll be at work, but you could go by yourself. So the very next day, 8 o'clock in the morning. Bing, I'm up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get dressed.
Yeah.
I gotta go talk to this guy because he understands life better than I do.
Right.
He understood where to go, what he's doing in life. So I went to him. I sat down with him, like at a desk. He was just chilling, and I said, "I need to know what you know. Like I need to get to where you are. Like how are you so happy about life? How are you so confident? How are you just so still within your being? Like I'm sporadic. Like
Yeah.
I'm just got so many things going on in my mind." And he's like, "I just enjoy what I do." And so I said, teach me what you do. Like teach me what you know. Like how is it that you can go about life so casually and just so successfully? And so he looked at me. It's like it was awkward because now I know why he looked at me at the time. I didn't know at the time, but now it was because he had a similar story. Like he met someone in the industry and was like, teach me.
That was
everything
his,
you know.
yeah.
So he was like, okay, just bring me your resume and whatever, and then I will be happy to take a look at it. And he was like, I was like, I'm a student, so I don't really have to. I don't work out here. And he was like, that's gonna be an issue. But I said, then he said, but you know what? If you just come to the store every day, or the studio with me every day, I'm not gonna pay you, but you're gonna get like a wealth of experience.
Yeah.
He said, I know you're in school, but when you finish school at 12 o'clock, because ironically my school was in between where I lived and his place. It's all within a block.
Yeah.
So like that's fate, right? It's fate.
It sounds like it, David.
So I went in there and he was like, come after school, and the days that you don't have school, you have to be here.
Right.
Saturdays I'm here. Sundays I may be here. I'll message the group. I'll put you in the group. If I'm here, and the days that I'm here and the days that you're supposed to be here and you don't have school, you have to be here before me. If you don't, I'm not going to take you serious. So I'm like, okay. So Monday, Tuesday, I didn't have school. Wednesday, I didn't have school in the morning. I had school in the evening. And then Thursday and Friday, I had school in the morning, and I'll go to him in the evening. So every free moment that I had at the studio. And the first day I remember I came in, he was like, okay, so what do you want to learn? What do you want to be? Like, and I was like, I don't know. I'm never, this is my first time.
This is my first time, right?
It's my first day. And he was like, what type of jeweler do you want to be? And I was like, still kind of like, what type of jewelers are there? He's like, well, you can be a bench jeweler, or you can be a designer. You can be an appraiser. You can be a wholesaler like myself. You can be a salesperson. You can do as much as you want. And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying here. Okay, so I was like, I gave him examples of stores in Bermuda that I would like to replicate,
right.
or like to challenge as I get older. And he said, okay, so you want to be a designer, you want to be a design house. And I said to him, yeah, that's exactly what I want to be.
Yeah.
He was like, that's the hardest thing to do. Out of everything,
you picked the hardest.
Because it encompasses everything that I just spoke to. You have to be an appraiser, you have to have a bench jeweler, you have to have a salesperson, you have to go out and source the jewelry, you have to be the accountant, you have to do so many different things. And I was like, and I told him, I said, there's nothing worth having. Like basically I said to him, anything worth having, you have to work hard for it. Like, and I came from nothing, so my parents didn't have a house,
right?
Or whatever. So like, I'm already down here.
So there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, there's only another way to go. Even if I just make it a little bit above where I am, better than where I was.
So how long was I call that like your apprenticeship? How long was your apprenticeship?
4 years.
Okay.
2 to 4 years. Yeah, I remember it was a minimum of 2, but the 2.5 to 3, I moved to Bermuda to open up my own store, but I was still traveling back and forth.
And I remember meeting you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that at Hamilton Princess?
You are one of the people that I credit for my success. You, Takesha Welch, Shantia Steed, you 3 ladies, when I came to Bermuda and I was scared to present to you my business plan.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I'm like, they're going to rip this to shreds and like toss it out. And then they didn't. You guys had like a decent stance on everything.
Yeah.
You were like, listen, this will work. You need to change this, but you need this. You need the cash flow analysis. You need the so many business documents. I can't remember now. It was cash flow. It was a income statement.
Yeah.
It was a business plan. these are things I had never ever touched. I went to school for IT, so
Right.
I graduated in IT and Microsoft Systems Engineer, and then I went into programming with designing CADs and designing websites, and then I hated programming and I hated what I did. So when I met this person, it was like, this is what I'm gonna do. He knows what's up. He knows what to do.
I think that for me, that story, because I never knew that part of the story.
Which story?
The part where you actually were introduced to it and you met this person. So I never knew that part.
I took the initiative to actually go to him and tell him and talk to him. I was never afraid of talking to people.
And that, to me, I think is important because as an entrepreneur, especially not growing up with that kind of entrepreneurial role model, you didn't have that, right? Because all your family would work for everybody else.
Right.
So to me, that you took that initiative, it was something that you were born to do. You know what I mean? It seems like it.
Well, the backstory behind me being an entrepreneur is I was, like I said, everyone just drove into me. You need to get a job.
Yeah.
And this is from like preschool, primary school. So primary six,
correct.
I'm in my class. I think, what's primary 6, 10?
Yeah.
10, 11, I think 9, 10. Primary 6, I'm in Mr. Cobham's class in St. David's Primary. And I'm looking, and this is how Bermuda small town is, right? Like, I look out my window, I can see my house. That's how Bermuda is. It's ironic. So, but I can see other students' parents, houses. So I'm looking out my window, I'm like, hey, man. Like, I see this guy's dad driving around. And I'm like, okay, maybe he just left his lunch. Yeah. Because all I knew at that point
was somebody had a job, 9 to 5.
We didn't have the internet. We didn't have all these, like, TV shows. Remember, cable came out when I was, like, in teens. I'm showing my age, but, like, I didn't have cable till, like, we were 16. Internet weren't around. Everything that you learned was basically through adults. And so I'm looking out the window, I'm saying, hey, this guy's dad. 2 days in a row. Like,
he's just out in the streets.
So I'm like, I tap him, like, this is OJ, the cricket. So I'm like, OJ, is something all right? Is everything okay? He's like, yeah. It's like your dad's driving around, but he should be at work. That's me. Like, yo, this guy is out there doing things that, like, he should be at work. What's going on?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, he just owns his own business. Don't worry. He's just coming back home. He does that. He pops in to see my mom. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, what is this?
What are you talking
Own your
about?
own business?
What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, yeah, he owns his own business. He just makes his own hours, does what he wants. I mean, sometimes he works late, but during the day he gets to do whatever he wants. I'm like, what? Like, blew my mind.
Thing,
like,
right?
that was my paradigm shift into thinking there's other possibilities out there for me. And so, so I run home. You would have thought I was Willy Wonka. Like, no, sorry, Charlie from Willy Wonka. Like, gotta get home. Mom, I got something that's gonna change the game. You can own your own business. And she looked at me as if, like, your daughter just told you, like, oh, the sky is blue. Like, yeah, I mean, you know that. I'm like,
but why are we doing it?
Why aren't we doing that? She was like, I don't know the first thing about, I never learned anything about business. I'm like, you're telling me that I can do this? Like, and she was like, yeah, when you grow up, you can do that. And from that moment in P6,
you knew there was another
I knew
way.
I was never going to work for anybody.
Interesting.
I knew that. Like, I was like, what? And the thing is, I like to drive, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't about, when I learned about being an entrepreneur, it wasn't about making a lot of money. It was like, I get to drive during the day when everyone's working. That was my whole thing back then, right?
Right.
Like, I get to do these things when everyone's working. And fast forward to today, I was very wrong. Like, I thought I would be able to drive around and do whatever.
Of course you can.
There's way too much to do on a daily basis just from Davidrose alone.
That's right.
Let alone having 2 daughters and a wife.
Yeah.
It's just impossible to do what I want to do right now, but eventually that'll happen.
Your experience, it really does sound like a storybook. Like, as you're telling the story, I'm like reliving all of this in my mind, and I'm visually seeing this progression.
This is the first time I'm actually telling this story in the public, it's just.
But I think it's good that you are, because for sure I know that you're going to be inspiring some other young entrepreneur who may have had a similar scenario where they never really were exposed to entrepreneurship, but they knew that what everybody else was experiencing was not for them.
Right.
And so being able to tap into or recognize that from when your nana was showing you her jewelry or whatever. So it was like already in there. Yeah. And then you were able to kind of fulfill
it's almost
the calling, if you will. You know what I mean?
I strongly believe in fate. I strongly believe in that there's a path for you.
Yes.
It's up to you whether you decide to take those paths or the like the forks in the road, which one you take. But I feel like when I tell my story, I had to make my path. Like I had to there was no path. I'm not a path. You know,
it wasn't like laid out for you. You had to build that plan, build that path.
I had to like sort of chop the trees and make my own path. And so far, so good. I mean, it's been we've been in business since 2010. We incorporated after I met you.
Yes.
And I would say it's 13 years. 13 years incorporated, but 14 years really doing
that. Is so awesome. I mean, I remember when you opened the shop in St. George's, which was beautiful. I mean, that thing was like picturesque. I'm like, you come in here.
You know what? Wherever we go, we brighten up the space.
Yeah.
And
but I think for me, what I'm getting from you is that you paid attention to the signs.
Everything.
You took advantage of the opportunities when they were presented to you.
Right.
And as a result of that, 13 years later, you have Davidrose, and it's thriving. I do want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about what the new plans are. Like, what's next? Because you're in Hamilton now. You're not in St. George's.
You don't know the new
No,
thing?
you got to tell me.
June 1st, like I always keep my cards close to my chest.
Yeah,
And then we release it when it's ready. We open up a store in Dockyard. We're on the Dockyard Terrace. It's a beautiful little hut right by Churchill's, which ironically is my cousin also. All right, check you out, man. But we've just recently opened. Actually, right after this, I have to go right up there and see how it's doing today. My daughter's already designing jewelry.
I was gonna say
she has her own line coming out.
Full circle, like from when you started, where you didn't have that entrepreneurial role model, and now you have
my kids
two
already
daughters,
know it,
and they're just like in it already.
So she's already designed her own collection.
But I love that you're exposing them to that, right? And already telling them that this option is for you. Maybe even if it's not jewelry, you can do and create your own.
Yeah. Her name's on the door. I mean, her name's Aria Rose. So she's already got her name on the door.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's already on the door.
So that's my vision for the future. Like I said, I used to think in my mind, like, so when I was starting Davidrose, they always say shoot for the moon and you be amongst the stars.
Yeah.
So my aim was to challenge Cartier, like Van Cleef and Arpels. Like that's my mindset. So like even if I don't reach those heights, just a little bit lower, it's still amazing.
It's still amazing.
Right? Like, so I always set the bar extremely high. I think gratitude is what has really propelled my situation. I'm grateful for everything. I started from the bottom, the very bottom. And
now we're here.
Yeah, sky's the limit. I mean,
like
my daughters can take it further if they wanted to, but
started from the bottom, now we're here.
I'm happy where I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
Listen, so for people who may not know, I don't know why they don't know, but where can they find you, your stores?
Okay.
You have the one in Hamilton.
So I have one on 47th Front Street, which is between English Sports Shop and then Calypso. And I also have a Dockyard store on the Dockyard Terrace.
Okay.
I used to have a store in St. George's. It's not there anymore. We are online as well.
Okay. And what's
Davidrose Studio.com.
Okay. And I'm looking forward to seeing your big vision, your design house come to fruition.
I want to bring more Bermudians into the design aspect because, like, I have a unique perspective on the jewelry industry. I mean, there's no one in Bermuda. Everyone pretty much has almost a similar story in the jewelry industry, but my story and my background has a different perspective.
It does.
How I see jewelry. Like everyone came in, it's like, oh, I do this, I do this. I came in one time, it's like, this needs to be done, and like, bam, it blew up because the alternative perspective that I bring. Yeah. And so, which is important. I think you need to have that diversity in the industry. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Look, you got to come back. Yeah, for sure. So I'm sorry, can continue the conversation. We didn't get through half the thing. We didn't, but I think through what you shared, we did cover a lot of that. Like what your passion is evident. Yeah. You know what I mean? How you came to entrepreneurship, some of the challenges that you face. So like it all came out, which I think is great because it gives people that inside information about you and your story. And I think it resonates. Look, David, I appreciate you coming and sharing your story with us. I think I'm inspired. I'm sure that people who hear this will be inspired as well. Yeah. And I want you to come back at some point. Maybe Averill can join us the next time. EDC way more than just 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Like, you guys have been a staple in how my business has been running. Mm-hmm. Like, you've given me so many tools when it comes to, like, oh, you need a business plan, income statement, cash flow analysis. I didn't know how important these things were until now. I was 10, 13, 14 years in. I'm like, these are essential. You
tools.
Cannot live without these.
You cannot.
And if your business is running without these, good luck. Good luck. Good luck trying to get anything in the government or even in the banks, because they're going to want to see everything from like the inception to now. And I have that because of BEDC.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Look, we've minded our business today, and I appreciate you. And just remember, because if you don't mind your business, who will?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.